So 3 to 4 years ago, I probably cried in my car at least once a month. I know that's a lot, but hear me out. I felt completely burnt out. I was exhausted. And now looking back, I don't know if it was really burnout. I can genuinely say I was uninspired. I didn't have a strong sense of self and I didn't have a strong self-concept. Who was I outside of my title and the roles people in society has assigned me? So today, I want to talk about number one, what I misunderstood as burnout. Number two, what some of the research is saying. And number three, I want to talk about what kind of helped me recover from that burnt out state. So why did I think I was burnt out? What's the facts, the details? Let me tell you, your girl was exhausted. I was tired. I definitely felt like there was a lack of motivation and I felt trapped. I knew I didn't want to be where I was, but I didn't know how to get where I wanted to be. Then I started blaming work. It's just because I'm too busy. There's too much to do. The workload is too high. And then society tells you you're busy. Take a vacation. That'll fix things. So I did the vacation. I came back and I was like, I still feel the same when I came back. So then I decided, you know what? I think the best course of action will be to change my environment. I changed my environment and I still kind of felt the same. But that's when I had to really start looking at the bigger picture. And I actually want to share with you guys whose definition of burnout. And for those of you who don't know, who is the World Health Organization? So I'm going to read it just so I get it right. But their definition of burnout involves these core three features. So number one, it's emotional exhaustion. Number two, it's cynicism and detachment. And number three, it's reduced sense of efficacy. And efficacy is your ability to get the desired intent, come across. Basically, for me, I definitely was emotionally exhausted. I definitely had a level of cynicism, but I wasn't detached because I loved being of service and helping people. And I definitely was still getting the results I desired from the care that I was giving. So when I looked at it as a whole, I was like, I know I'm having elements of burnout, but I think what I've lost is the meaning of why I'm doing what I'm doing and if I'm doing it in the right way for me. So this burnout actually came up around the time where I started doing a lot more personal growth work. And I was in this in-between phase between outgrowing that person that I was and this new person I was becoming. So it kicked up a bunch of dust around expectations and cultural norms. I was navigating that space of letting go of who I felt I should be because that's how I was told and trained to be, and becoming this version of myself that was allowed to show up the way I wanted. And that really resonated with me. And because of that, I started doing a lot of research. And I read this article. It was a longitudinal study done on burnout and how it linked burnout to three key factors. They talked about these three things. And once again, I like to read stuff because I don't want to forget them. Low autonomy, low meaning, and value misalignment. These are the three things that tend to allow people to easily slide into burnout when you're not feeling like your values align with the type of work you're doing or the company you're in, when you don't find meaning in what you're doing. And number three, when you have low autonomy, you might be micromanaged. And though my situation didn't hit all three of these, some of the elements were the same. So as I started to go through this growth process and try and understand what is happening within my life, I really started to look at the cultural expectations and the cultural norms in these spaces and how they align with who I am and the person I want to be. So we're given this cultural message: be productive, be resilient, push hard, push through. In that, nobody talks about how in doing that, you're actually having a sense of self-abandonment. When you don't feel like you can stand up for yourself, when your body doesn't trust you to uphold certain boundaries and borders for you to be the most highly functional and vibrant version of yourself, you're not going to trust yourself. And I see that so much within the healthcare setting because I am from healthcare. We hold our bladders for so long. We don't eat, we don't drink, and then we end up with kidney issues because we're not doing the basic things to allow ourselves to be healthy. It's exhibited as like they're being like so great. They're doing their job. And yes, they are, but those small, subtle signs of not caring for yourself in those moments over time teaches yourself that you're not going to be able to rely on yourself. The decisions you make day to day will teach and train your body and mind how you're going to show up. So in a culture that tells us that productivity is key and that sometimes you just have to skip a meal or skip XYZ to perform, those are not situations that likely align with your values. And when you are in those spaces, you have to recognize the dissonance between those two is really going to cause havoc within your system. Because burnout is not just a bump in the road, it's actually a sign. And when we start listening to the signs our body is giving us, we are avoiding a major mishap. So all the seriousness aside, I want to talk about some of the things that actually really helped me. And I wrote them down, so I'm going to go through them. But the first one is probably reflection. And I asked myself three very serious questions. Who am I? Two, what do I value? What am I doing out of obligation? Okay, I want you to reflect on these questions and really start to get clear on where you stand, what you want, because you can't heal what you don't understand. System number 2, the body and the nervous system. For those of you who know anything about me, you know I love the body and I love the nervous system because it really helps us get out of our head and into our body. So anything where you can move, stretch, dance, breath work, where you're allowing this like mind-brain connection to intertwine and you're allowing yourself to connect more with your body is going to be so important. My healing journey really started when I stopped being mind focused and let my body sometimes lead the way, connecting with my intuitive knowing of what feels good to me and what doesn't feel good to me. Number 3, gratitude. Gratitude is so important. And I know these are things that you guys already know, but honestly, taking the time to be grateful for the little things allows you to realize how many things that you have in your life that you don't really think about often. Like, wow, I'm grateful I have a beautiful apartment to live in. I'm grateful I have a car to drive. I'm grateful I have really nice food to eat. I'm grateful I have a supportive community around me. These are things that are not available to everybody. So just taking the time to be grateful for what you have can often illuminate that there's so many other wonderful things in your life that we often get blindsided by when we're focused on what's not working. The next one is number 4, having patience with myself. And this is something I really struggle with because I'm a patient person by nature, but patience with myself is something I've struggled with. Having the compassion for myself to say, you know what, slowness isn't going to be the end of the world. To throw away my timeline that I've made up and just allow things flow. And this is where I actually do tie in the movement with this, is because I tend to want to stretch and do some yin yoga that allows me to view time in a much more slowed, compassionate way, because I want to get things done. I want to move. I want to be in action, but recognizing that sometimes I have to have patience with myself. I have to listen to what I have capacity for rather than just be on the move. That's been one of my biggest lessons. So some key takeaways or lessons, if you must, from this chat is that burnout isn't always about workload. And I want you to take that into consideration next time you think you might be burnt out. Oftentimes it's about value misalignment. It's about transitions in life where you're just transitioning from one space to another and outgrowing the versions of yourself that you used to be and what that new version of yourself actually looks like. When I'm coaching these beautiful women, the biggest thing that I see is that they are often very competent. They're often very responsible. They're often detached from themselves, though. They're so good at doing what they do that they have learned to disconnect from that voice within them that tells them that this doesn't feel good. I need something different for myself to feel aligned. Oftentimes when you are burnt out, and even if you're doing something that it's something you absolutely love, you're absolutely passionate about, those moments of burnout will dissipate once you rest or take a break for a while. But the key telltale sign is if your values and your things are not misaligning and you take a break and you still feel the same, you might need to reevaluate what's happening in your life. You might not just need a new job. You might need to work on your relationship with yourself and listening to what you need at this point in your life. This is why my Harmony framework has been a staple in my life, because it covers every area of getting clear on what you want and where you want to be. And H is for health assessment. Are your basic needs taken care of? Are you eating, sleeping, drinking? Are your bloods up to date? A, are you being honest with yourself? Are you in Delululand, or are you actually being real about where you are, what you're doing, and how it's going? Are you resting? That's part of the first one. But what does rest look like for you? How comfortable are you with rest? How often are you resting? Do you need a social rest versus a lock me in a room, don't talk to me type of rest? And what kind of mindfulness practice do you have? Do you go on walks by yourself? Do you meditate? How do you have moments of pause? One of the things about growth and learning that we don't take into our growth journey is new experiences. You need new experiences to grow and allow your nervous system to acclimatize to something new. So are you open to new things? What new things are you open to? Are you trying them? How often are you trying them? N is nurture. What do you need to nurture in this phase of your life? And oftentimes in this climate that we're living in, it's usually community. Who is your community? Who's there to nurture you? Who's there to guide you? Who's there to support you? And why? How do we integrate all these cute little unique things that we have learned about ourselves into a cohesive system to allow you to thrive? So that is my Harmony framework. If you're feeling burnt out, you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe it's time to start back at the basics, looking at things that suit you, what works for you, what's not working for you, everything from your sleep and your water intake to your support system to what rest looks like to you. And are you being real with yourself about all these things? So I hope you like this video and I hope to see you in the next one.